Out of our five senses, vision is one of the most important in our perception of the outside world. That is even more so in the world of sim racing because we're not exactly able to feel all of the forces of the car being enacted on us. So, a couple years ago, I did an article comparison of the virtual reality headset to a triple screen method. And in that article, I said that the triple screens were superior because while virtual reality was a exciting concept at the time, we still had yet to see a finished product and it still had some nitpicks. Now, let's fast forward to 2017 and there's a lot more potential. We are seeing virtual reality headsets from Oculus, we're seeing them from PlayStation, HTC, and Samsung, and also Google are joining in. So we are seeing all of these new VR headsets, and we have to look at this again. How is virtual reality in 2017? Is it becoming the de facto go-to method for seeing the sim racing world? Let's take a look. So as a disclaimer, when I did my first impressions article, I had no experience whatsoever with virtual reality. Since then, I've been able to test out the Oculus Rift, the PlayStation VR, Google Cardboard, Google Daydream, as well as the HTC Vive, and I've been able to test some flight sims, I've been able to test Project Cars and Assetto Corsa, so I think now I also do have the qualifications to do a more in-depth analysis on these headsets now in 2017 versus when I did my write-up in 2014. So looking at that, I wanted to split my video into two parts. What I like about virtual reality and also what needs some work. I will start off with the things I do like. And starting off is that virtual reality is a visual isolation from the world around you and a full visual immersion into the world of the virtual. You do not have any perception of the world outside, and all of your perception is into this virtual world, namely, in our case, the sim racing. And with that, we're able to race in these cars and have that visual immersion. Now, it's not full immersion, as I'll allude to later in this video, but we do have that full visual immersion. Another pro of the virtual reality is that you are able to fully see the world around you without any broken seams. Now, with triple screens, you are aligning 3 screens, and that is your visual range. You do not get to see above you. You do not get to see below you. You only have a limited lateral range of sight. Now, in theory, you might be able to develop a sim that could have a full 360 wraparound, but that would take a whole lot of computing power to be able to do that. So, with virtual reality, you are able to see above you, you're able to see below you, you're able to see left to right, and with that, you are able to have that with as seamless an experience as possible. Another thing I do like about virtual reality is that it requires less hardware than a triple screen setup. With a triple screen setup, you are powering a resolution of 5620 by 1080 if you are using 3 1080p screens. That is equivalent to one 1080p screen less than a 4K display, so you do need a pretty beefy PC to be able to power that at a reasonable frame and reasonable display. With the Oculus Rift, you are actually using it at a 1200p resolution, and with that, you are able to have more performance allotted to you from the graphics card. You're able to have more performance. Granted, in a lot of cases, you're going to have to render a 1080p screen, but still, that is significantly less than 3 1080p screens. So those are some of the things I do like about the Oculus Rift and other VR headsets. Now, I wanted to talk about some of the things I don't like as much. Now, one of the biggest things that also goes in hand with my total visual immersion is you do not have the full body experience. With that being said, you have the visual immersion. You have that full visual immersion with the headset, and that tricks your brain into thinking you're driving a race car, to trick your brain into thinking that you are driving at 200 miles an hour. The problem is your body isn't catching up. Your body is still thinking you're sitting still. So when you have that separation, you have that visual not believing what your body is doing, that is where the motion sickness on the Rift comes in. Another thing that I am not as big a fan of on a virtual reality headset is your peripheral vision struggles. Your peripheral vision is almost non-existent in a VR headset, and I believe that is because while you're looking through glass lenses into the screen itself is still a flat screen. So when you are looking at your peripheral vision, what's at the corner of your eye, you're not really going to see anything in a VR headset. What I would like to see in maybe the next generation of VR headsets is, how about maybe a curved screen? We are seeing developments in curved screen technology, and I believe that might be able to help with peripheral vision in a VR headset. The last thing I wanted to mention about the things I don't really like about a VR headset is that while the lower resolution does help on the hardware side, it doesn't really look good. It really is a struggle to see things in the distance with a virtual reality headset. And with that being said, you have to really have good depth to be solid in a racing environment. You want to look ahead, look in the background, and be able to see what is there. Now, in the current state of virtual reality headsets, that is lacking. In the next generation, I would hope to see maybe in the way of a 4K display. And I think that will be the big turning point, the big push to bring virtual reality into the mainstream when the version 2.0s come out in 18, 19, and 20. With that, I believe the technology will have catched up to the ambition in virtual reality. So while I would say I'm not as big a fan of virtual reality now in 2017, I believe, ask me again in a couple years, and I might be saying something differently. So these are my thoughts on the virtual reality in 2017. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments. Also, if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe down below and help keep us on track. Also, check out simracingpaddock.com, where we have just launched our new forums, and join the community. For the Sim Racing Paddock, I'm William Marsh, and you have a great rest of your day.